Guys, this is probably the most versatile and funny pedal that I ever try out, and it's also easy to use. Well, you have to read the manual. Intro, and then we talk more about this beautiful TC Electronics Plethora X1. Hi guys, I'm Steex, audio video production. Welcome to my YouTube channel, welcome to my studio, the place where I try out audio gear and video gear. Today, the gear is this new Plethora X1 by TC Electronics. As you can see, is a very compact pedal, one single pedal, but inside you can have tons of effects. Pay attention that you can bring with you mostly the modulation pedals, reverb, chorus, vibe, pitch shifter, and so on and so forth, but also some of the dynamic pedal, for example, compressor and noise gate. So this is mainly a modulation pedal. Before starting the review, I have to send a huge thanks to Lucky Music that sent me this gear to try out to make a video here for you. This video is sponsored by Lucky Music. However, all the opinions will be personal and will be mine. So this video will be done in this way. I'll introduce the pedal, all the connection and all the parameters. Then we will see the browser, because you can also connect the pedal to the PC or to your phone with the dedicated application to manage everything. And of course, then I'll play something. Before start talking about the pedal, let me start talking about the gear that I'll use today for the audio test. I'm using my usual Gibson Les Paul standard with Alnico 5 pickups, going directly to my Supro Statesman 1699 RH head. The cabinet is inside here, my Torpedo Captor X. So I have two impulse responses here and will be free to download for you if you are a member of my YouTube channel. You can see in the community section the dedicated download. Then from the cabinet, I'm going directly here in mono to my TC Electronics Plethora X1. And then I'm going in stereo directly to my audio interface here, my Orion Studio Synergy Core, and I'm recording with Studio One. Okay, all introduced. Now let's talk about the pedal itself. As a connection, as you can see, this pedal is stereo, and not only output stereo, but we have also the stereo input. That's very, very cool, because you can use this pedal and place the pedal also after a pedal that is already in stereo. For example, you have a very cool analog pedal in your pedal board and it's stereo, for example, a reverb, and you want to place some effects after that pedal, and you want to have, of course, preserve the stereophony. Well, with this pedal, you can plug the output of your stereo pedal directly here in the input, and you can preserve the stereophony. That's very, very cool. But another using is to use this Plethora X1 with synthesizer, with keyboards. That's why you have this stereo input and stereo output. In my opinion, this is a very cool pedal that you can use with your synthesizer. I'm not a synthesizers reviewer, but for sure you have tons of effects here that you can use with your synth. So I think it's a very, very cool pedal for synth. Then here we have on top the USB-C that you can use to update the firmware. So probably TC Electronics will update with new effects. You can update your Plethora X1, but USB-C is also very useful to connect to your PC or Mac, as I'm doing right now. As you can see, this is the TonePrint software, and here you can customize your TonePrint, create your pedal board, and manage all the effects that you have inside your Plethora X1. You can do the same with your phone. Okay, there is the application also for your phone, and it's basically the same as here. For me, is easier to show you here on PC because I can record also the screen here easily. You have also the connect button here, and it's basically for the Bluetooth for your iPhone to connect with your application in your iPhone. Okay, so let's talk about the main view. As you can see, the Plethora X1 has one main LCD where you can visualize the effects that you are using right now. If you switch to another, you can see another type of effect, but you can also see the parameter that you are using, for example, okay? Then you have the main foot switch. This is not only to bypass the pedal, but you can do a lot more, and I'll show you in detail. Then you have three main knobs for your parameters, A, B, and C. Of course, depending on the effects that you will engage, these two parameters will be different. For example, for reverb, you have the mix, the length of the reverb. For delay, you have the tempo, the speed. Maybe if you have a ping pong, you can decide a different speed. And you have this main rotary knob. This goes from 1 up to 7. So this means that you can have on board loaded up to 7 effects that you can recall basically in this way, rotary the knob. This is not really comfortable to use when you are playing live, but this is meant to use, for example, when you change from one song to the other. So you can change your effects. You know, in this song I have to use, for example, the tremolo, while in the other song I'll use my chorus. Not in the middle of the song, would be very, very difficult. And also it's a pity that there is no any MIDI. I don't know if there is MIDI through the USB-C. I don't think so, but there is no any connection with real MIDI connection. So it's a pity that you cannot recall with one press of a MIDI switcher your pedals, your effects. It's really a pity, in my opinion. This is really a downside for me. But there is a possibility to use almost in real time, not so in real time, to switch between one pedal to the other, so one effect to the other, in a different mode that I'll show you in a moment. For example, here on my tone print number 7, I have the A and B, and I can switch between A and B in different ways, but I can show you in a moment. So this is how the Plethora basically presents itself. We have also here this tiny switch. This is very important because this switch is useful when you are, for example, here on reverb. You can toggle it and change the type of reverb. You can choose between cathedral, hall, plate, room, shimmer, and so on and so forth. As you can see, there is not all the reverb, because if I can show you here, this from Hall of Fame 2, you have tons of reverb, as you can see. But this depends on which reverb you have already loaded inside. You have available basically all the type of reverb that you have already loaded. For example, if you have some other reverb in other places, you will find the same reverb here in the list, okay? So if I switch, for example, to delay, I can toggle and I can choose different type of delay here. Or, for example, tremolo, you can choose different type of tremolo, and so on and so forth. But you can also use this switch, as you can see, in different ways, because here is written also mash. This mash is the new feature that has been introduced with this Plethora X1, and it's also written here. Basically, this mash is a momentary effect that you can engage with the pressure of your foot switch, and it depends on how you hit this foot switch. The harder you hit, the harder will be the effects. And I can show you this right now. For example, you can engage the mesh or not, holding and then changing with this switch. You can use, for example, as you can see, mesh, latching, momentary mesh, and A or B. Let's go to mesh right now, okay? And as you can see here on the top right part is written mesh. So with one switch, I can engage or not the pedal. For example, right now is bypassed and I can hear only my normal routing. Let's engage the reverb. It's a very strange reverb. It's from Area 51. But as you can see, if I press and hold, you can see the mesh. And you can see this circle, red circle, that is bigger according to how hard I push. If I push very, very low, you can see it is very small. So very, very hard. And you can listen what is going on. So it's keeping my shimmer effect inside this reverb. Let me change the type of effects. Maybe you can listen differently. For example, the delay, there is the mesh. This is the normal delay. It's mono. But when I press, it becomes stereo because it's changing the delay speed between the left and right. And if I press low, yeah, very, very cool. I can change, for example, here on chorus. This is a triple chorus. It's changing also here the pitch. I think it's changing the time of the modulation. But I know that here I have something very, very cool. I can switch here. This is my effect of the intro. And if I engage here the mesh, let me go here, mesh. Now I have this effect, this octaver, and listen the mesh. It's wonderful. It's changed basically the speed of my repetition. This sort of tremolo. And it depends on how hard you hit. Wow. That's very, very cool. And it's changed this mesh according also to the effect that you will engage. Now, let me show you also the A and B feature. If I go again to the previous, let me go to A and B. Now, here on this preset number 7, I have double effects. For example, in the A position, the same octave effect. But now, if I press, I am switching to the B. And it's basically a phaser. Back again to the octaver. So you can customize the parameter per each effect with this A, B, and C. What I really like is that as soon as you touch basically one parameter, as you can see, there is this dot, and basically it's telling me you are moving here, but your preset is placed on the bar, as you can see. If you want to overwrite, you have to go here to overwrite, and then you can change the parameter. Again, with the C, for example, as you can see, I'm here, so I'm here. If I want to go lower, you have to overwrite and then go lower. This is really useful because if you want to see the status of your effects, so the various settings, you can see only just touching the parameter. And if you want to overwrite, you have to move, of course, the parameter. So let's see now the browser. As you can see, when you connect everything and open the tone print, you have this visualization. You have basically visualization here, user, and it's telling you how to connect basically the Plethora X1. Then you can go to library, where you can see basically different tone print for different kind of pedal, let's say. For example, here, Plethora X1, X3, and X5. You can go inside and see different kind of effects that you can engage. For example, Here, Plethora X1, as you can see, we have all these kind of effects that we can engage. And for example, if you go to template, you can see per each kind of effects, for example, this is reverb, you have a lot of effects. This is from the all of reverb. Let's go back. So here, for example, for flashback, delay, you have all this delay. So you have tons of effects that you can engage. For example, let's go in this place where you have the chorus, this song, this effect. So I want to change this effect. You can engage whatever kind of effect. For example, let's go to, I don't know, for example, shaker vibrato. Let's go inside. You have a lot of effects. You can also only listen. Latch, default, Vibralux. Oh mio Dio. Oh, this is strange. It's also in stereo. For example, I like this one. You have to go here, store in pedal. It's loading, and now I hear this vibrato. As you can see, it's written rampage in the same placement where was basically my rotary knob. So now I can customize my basically effects because I have these three parameters. You have the depth, for example. Parameter B is the speed, slower. And the C is ramp time. So I have to go here. Wow. So guys, this is the Plethora X1 by TC Electronics. In my opinion, a really cool pedal. It's really funny to use because you have tons of effects that you can bring with you. You can customize them. It's really easy to use. I really like the fact that you have this mesh. It's really interesting to use, and depending on the pedal, the effects that you will use, the mesh will behave differently, and that's very, very cool. On the other side, yeah, you can only use one effect per time, so it's a pity, and it's also a pity that there is no any MIDI to basically manage everything and to use this with your pedalboard system. Basically, it's a bit difficult because you have to change by hand basically between the songs. You can change inside your song with the AB, for example, with this AB, but it's not instant, and so there is some delay to change from A and B. So very cool pedal, just a bit limited. You have the link in the description. Let me know what you think about, and I'll see you, of course, in the next video. Bye.